On this week's Vero Beach Social Media Pop-Up Podcast, we have Lou Kohlbauer, owner of Chive and Green Marlin Restaurant here in Vero Beach. We talk about the restaurant industry, staff shortages, and of course, marketing. Give it a listen. You're going to love it. I guarantee it. Here we go. All right, everybody, welcome to another edition of the Vero Beach Social Media Pop-Up Podcast. This is the 7th episode. I'm here with Lou Kohlbauer, owner of Chive and a Green Marlin. Say hi to everybody.
What's going on? Glad to be here.
Yeah, thanks for joining us. We've actually filmed a couple of these podcasts, one in Chive and one in Green Marlin.
We're
so it's
glad
a pleasure.
to have them.
Yeah, a pleasure to finally have you here. So how you doing today?
We're doing good. We're busy.
Yeah, good. Yeah, busy's good.
Yeah.
Yeah, we were just talking before the podcast started. The biggest issue for you is staffing now, right?
Yeah, staffing.
Oh, man. So we'll dive right into this. Of course, we want to talk about marketing and all that stuff because that's what we do. But I am very interested to hear your thoughts and everything about staffing and how that's going to get fixed. What do you think is going to happen?
Well, like we were talking about, we're going to have the restaurant business has always had people in it that, just making a buck, not really passionate about this business. And I think those people during this 18 months, 19 months have had the opportunity to find another way to make money. So the people that really didn't care about, being creative or making food or to be great in this business, you just really have to like to do things for people.
Right.
It doesn't work for everybody. So these people, I think, a lot of people found a different way to make money, whatever it may be on the internet, started their own business like you were saying.
Yeah, that's my theory and philosophy.
It did, and it's not necessarily a bad thing. It's a bad thing for right now because we do depend on, I like to have at least 70 or 80% of the staff that really loves the restaurant business, and then you can fill 20% with people that are just making a buck. But I think in the long run, we're going to get a higher percentage of people that are passionate about the restaurant business, that want to be there, that want to be a part of a team, and want to grow towards the future. That's going to be good for us in the future. Right now is the growing pains to get to that point.
Right. Yeah, I had this theory about COVID and all these businesses that shut down, and people were like, oh, COVID's killing business. And my philosophy was always, no, COVID's killing bad businesses.
It is.
If you're a good business,
it was a death blow.
You will stay good. You will stay afloat.
Yeah.
You'll stay up. If you're a bad business, this was good for the economy, I think. I know it sounds backwards, but it weeded out the people that didn't need to be here.
The stronger, and the restaurant business it's guilty of that. It has a lot of people that I have friends that made money doing something else, whether doctors, lawyers, and then they were like, I'm going to open a restaurant. I'm like, just give me $200,000 and I'm going to save you $500,000.
Right. Love
They're
it.
like, what? They're like, just give me $200,000.
Right. And I'll save you money.
And you're gonna thank me later.
Right. Yeah, it is always wild to me. And Andy and I actually talk about this. Andy has an extensive background in restaurant industry and bar industry and all that. And I think to myself, there is no fucking way I could ever run a restaurant. I've never worked in it.
Yeah.
I've never been a bartender. I've never even been a busboy. There are plenty of people like me, though, that think that they can do it. And
because
it's insane.
when they see a smoothly running operation, they see a bar that's cool and fun.
Right.
They don't realize what goes into it.
Well, I want to be on this side of the bar, not that side. It's cool and fun from this side.
Sometimes the problem is the people that want to start it think that they're going to be on that side hanging out with their customers, and they realize, well, for this to be successful, I have to do the work. I don't want to do that. I already made my money.
Right.
And this was like a cool retirement where I could make a passive income. It's not a passive income. For sure, it is the anti-passive.
If you're a good restaurant owner, it is not a passive income. But there are plenty of people out there that I think try, and they're just shitty business owners, shitty restaurant owners, and
it can be passive after you know.
Hold on 1 second, I got you on. Go ahead, sorry again.
I was going to say it can be passive once you've built that clientele and that the years of experience and good service.
Semi-passive.
Then you can make it semi-passive, exactly. But then you still have to rely on people being there, put in the time.
Yeah.
Same thing.
Yeah. But anyway, we jumped off onto this just because you and I had this conversation before.
Yeah.
I want to talk a little bit about how Chive started, because that was first, and then how that evolved into Green Marlin. So let's go all the way back to, I don't know, was this 2015, 2016? Talk to me about Chive.
2013.
2013. That's how long
That's the year it started, yeah.
So I've known you 8 years?
Yeah.
That's insane. All right. Let's talk about Chive, the concept, how it got started. Talk to us about it.
Well, I was buying, selling houses, doing construction. We had a company that did remodeling, but I was really more passionate about food than I am building. Although I do like to build, I think being creative means that you take any medium and you do something that wasn't there before. I like having an idea in your head and then getting it out so people can see it or taste it.
Well, we're sitting in an art studio right
Yeah,
now,
I
so
love
I
that.
think that that's probably music to Barry's ears. By the
It
way, we
is.
are at Studio on 60. We're going to
Yeah,
talk a
we
little bit
didn't-
more about that. But
I wish I was a better artist as far as painting goes. I'm okay, but I don't think anybody's buying anything.
well, Barry could probably teach you.
Teach me? Yeah, in my spare time.
There you go. Yeah, because you have all this time. All right, so I digress. Let's go back. So you're a creative guy. You were building things, buying and selling houses, but you're passionate about food.
Yeah, and that, obviously that went downhill 2008, 2009. But yeah, definitely got into kitchen and bathroom remodeling. And then 2011 was out of that. Figured I'm going to do this. I'm going to make one more career change because a lot of my life I had restaurants and I was flipping houses. So I realized that sometimes you can't do everything.
Right.
You need to concentrate on one thing. So I dropped all the stuff and just went full on creativity towards the restaurant business. And then we started Wild Time Catering.
Okay. Yep.
Wild Time Catering ended up evolving pretty quickly to where we needed to get a nice little facility. I figured we'll get a little spot. I had went to a Chipotle, which I'd never been to before,
Okay.
the one that opened out here,
Yep.
which would be probably 2012,
Um,
because I opened Chive
yeah,
a year
That
afterwards.
sounds about right. Yeah.
But I liked the service, the way they served the food. I think as Americans, we are very much like, I want to see it.
right. Sure.
So
I
liked it.
love, and whether we're talking about Chipotle or Chive, and I'm sure you're getting to this, but this is the mindset. This is the idea: is that I want that, and that, and I don't want that.
Yep.
And like you said, you can see it. It's made to order.
It's who we are. It's who we are
great.
now as Americans. We are
Yeah.
very much.
Yeah.
That is exactly what I want. I don't want that. And a little bit about a little arrogance about menus is sometimes like, this is the fancy way you should be eating this food.
Right.
Well,
Right.
there's a place for that, but not in every day. Like I have a dietary restriction or I'm trying to follow this diet.
Sure.
I did it mostly because I liked that process, but I was unhappy with the options that I had. I think you got salsa, sour cream, guacamole. There's your choices.
Right. Yeah. It's very limited.
I started by making sauces. That's who I was in college. I didn't have any money. My parents would send me care packages most of the time with a case of ramen noodles.
Right. Of course.
I couldn't stand to eat a ramen noodle tasting the same way again, so I would make sauces out of whatever we had in the house. And then my roommates would get me to make these things over again. So I'm talking about whatever was in the cupboards got mixed with mayonnaise or something or whatever. So that's where Chive kind of came about, where we have 35 different sauces. So when you go in there, you can get something creative, and you're doing it, and there's more than 3 different things you can do to your meal.
Right. Right.
And then I expanded from there. We ended up doing, I have a curry sauce, Asian flair, Cajun. You can almost go anywhere with the different options that you have there. And that's why we do have certain things, like our beans and rice are not over seasoned, so that you can take it with a sauce any route you want. Any genre of food you can do by taking the sauce to it. So a lot of people I'll see, they're like, hey, I went to your restaurant. Didn't like it at all. So what'd you get? I got beans and rice, chicken and sour cream.
Yeah, well, you didn't
Like,
put
well,
any
you
flavor
didn't.
in there.
You
yeah.
didn't do anything. You could have done that anywhere. And
Right.
sorry, and it is tough for some people because it is kind of up to you. I like my staff to lead you in the right direction, but sometimes people are intimidated or they just don't like the process and they want to get out quickly.
Right.
And they do something that's not very good.
Like beans and rice and chicken and sour cream.
Well, you're never going to be happy with that.
That's as
because
vanilla as it gets.
Because
with a
our beans and
meal.
rice are not overly flavored because I
Right.
don't want the flavors to mix in with whatever
Sure.
sauce that you're going to pick.
Sure. So you had Wild Time. You
Yeah.
started Wild Time. You had this small little place for Chive.
900 square feet.
900 square feet off of Old Dixie Highway.
Yep.
And I mean, it blew up. You guys were
Yeah, we were so
nuts.
busy the first 6 months. And remember, I was just wanting to not have to work for someone else. So I figured if I could just make a decent living, do the catering on the side, have our open for lunch and then close at 2 or 3.
Right.
We couldn't close. We were still busy, so we ended up. I think we opened the doors. I figured I was happy if we were going to do like $400 or $500 a day.
Right.
I think our first day open we did $800, and then it was 12, and then it was 15, 18, 22. I was like, okay, we've hit something that people like here.
Yeah.
And then I noticed that people couldn't get there. There was no parking.
Oh yeah.
They couldn't get in line quick enough. The line was out the door around the corner.
Well, and then you ended up expanding that space a little bit.
I did,
for
but
a short while.
not before we opened a new one. I
Okay.
opened Royal Palm Point
That's right. There were
1
2
year-
locations for a short while.
1 year
Yep.
to the day that I opened the Old Dixie.
So you have the small Old Dixie place. It blows up. You open Royal Palm. You have 2.
1.7 miles away.
Right. Two, which are practically neighbors.
Yeah.
And then what?
I was going to close, or I wasn't going to close. I was going to make the little one into a burger joint.
Okay.
Same
Right.
concept, but you do burgers and
Right.
chicken burgers and veggie burgers. Same way where they build it in
Pick your
front of you.
protein. Pick the patty that you want.
Yep, and they
pick
build
the
it in
bun
front
you
of you.
want, and all the toppings are right there.
But
Okay.
our sales didn't dip
Oh.
over there. So I'm like, wait a minute. Okay, so now I have a restaurant that does 2.5 to 3 times what the original one does, but the first one didn't lose its sales.
Right. Why?
So why would I change
if
it?
If it ain't broke, don't fix
Then I
it.
realized we got a whole different clientele that went to the new one, and even though it was 1.7 miles away, they wouldn't go to the new one.
Well, if you don't know the geography of Vero Beach, which everybody listening to this probably does, but you're on Royal Palm Point, you're next to the bridge, you're probably getting some beach crowd. It's considered a little higher end than Old Dixie
It was.
Highway downtown. You're right. It's so funny. It's
I
so
would get
close.
I would get people from John's Island call, and they would say, "We're from John's Island. We're going to make a reservation." When we had the Old Dixie store,
Oh my God.
we're going to make a reservation. I'm like, we have 3 tables. You probably just want to stop by at some point and grab a burrito or something.
Right.
But I had one Top Chef in 2013. So that was when we won Top Chef here, the Vero Beach Top Chef. We got a lot of exposure, press that said, "Oh, Vero Beach Top Chef got his own restaurant." So that's why we were getting all these people like, "Oh, we want to try it." And
yeah.
they didn't know.
Well, that makes sense, I guess.
And we were getting really good reviews, and I just thought it was funny. I'm like, well, there's a line, and then I had 3 tables. Because most of the time, if you sat at a table, which you got lucky enough to get a little table, there was a line of people's butts in your face right there. Like, that's right there.
All right, so you have Royal Palm, you have Little Chive or Old
Yeah.
Chive or whatever you want to call it, Old Dixie. That goes away.
I ended up buying my partner out, Travis, and gave him Wild Time Catering and bought him out of Chive.
Okay, so now that's Wild Time.
I gave him that location for Wild Time Catering only, yeah.
Okay, you have only now one Chive, Royal
Yep.
Palm Point.
Nope. Oh, yeah, back
Right.
then. Yeah.
And then and then you move where you are now, which is off of Miracle Mile. When and how? What happened there?
Well, I had just finished doing the remodel on Green Marlin.
Okay.
So when I took a loan and my dad and I, for the most part, are in there, beating that restaurant up, cleaning it, building tables, and just get it up and running. Probably about 5 or 6 months, and then I hear through the grapevine that they're not going to renew my lease at Royal Palm Point.
Gotcha.
So then I run quickly and figure out what am I going to do. That place that had been there was 21st Street Tap House.
Right. Yep. And it had been a
They were-
million
and-
things before that.
No, it only
like
been 2. It was
Brugger's,
Brugger's, and then it
20
was Tap House.
And then there was something before that, I thought.
No, because when it was remodeled,
was
it
the
became
first-
Brugger's. Yeah,
What was in that space before?
that was the
Brugger's?
furniture gallery.
That was still modern age. in
Yeah.
there? Okay, I didn't realize that.
when they remodeled that. That was Brugger's was the first thing in there.
It's so funny how my mind works. Like I for some reason I thought it was like 5 or 6 different
No.
restaurants. It was 2.
No, and you people are like, oh, that's a fail. You can't make it there. That spot fails. I'm like, well, that's what they said about Chive, the first
Right,
Chive. They said
right.
nothing makes it in that little spot.
Right.
And I said, well, we'll see. But I have 2. We always had 2 avenues of revenue, which was catering and
Sure.
the sales of the restaurant. I'm a big believer. Anybody out there listening that wants to start their own business, try to have as many revenue streams out of one location as you can. That's
Yeah.
going to help you. And I knew that we'd be fine because we had
If
sales.
one starts to fall, you can lean on the other one.
Yeah, absolutely.
Gotcha.
But our catering was growing, and we could have survived just on the catering sales.
Right.
So you add something that pays the overhead and gives you a way to get rid of other product. Like catering, sometimes you have product that you don't use, and
Right.
we
Yeah,
can
now
run
we
it
can
out the
throw it
restaurant.
in, and we have a special
Make-
menu item
make
now.
soups out of it. We make quiches. Anything.
Sure.
You get creative with stuff. That's part. When you find out people that are successful in the restaurant business, they don't lose product. They're creative with it.
Right.
Or they learn how to buy product that is inexpensive
You can't
but
throw it
quality.
away. You can't throw it away. You got to figure out something to do with it.
And you have to watch it. That's why we order at the Green Marlin. We order seafood every day.
Yeah.
So we're on top of it. I can't get a lot of product sitting there because we only order enough for one day.
Right. Right. So you run out, you're out, and
If
we'll
we run out,
try tomorrow.
We're pretty good at ordering. It took a while, but it took me probably 6 months to realize that okay, you got no life because every day you get an inventory of what you have, and every day you got to call it in by 8:30 or 9 o'clock, whether you're on vacation or not. Which I haven't been on vacation.
I was
going to
say, what's a vacation for Lou? Yeah.
But you're staying on top of it. But that's my guarantee because one of the reasons why I opened this restaurant was because I was tired of being lied to in this town or any town about fresh seafood because it's a different animal. It really is. And frozen is not. And even if they say, well, it's fresh frozen, well, you're kidding yourself.
Yeah.
And you're lying to people.
Right. So yeah, let's get into that. So back into the timeline, you still have Chive on Royal Palm, and you decide you're going to open a seafood restaurant.
Yeah,
How the hell's
because
that happen?
I was waiting for it. I was heading to Jupiter. I already picked out Chive's second location in Jupiter. Beautiful spot. Negotiated the lease and was ready to jump on it. And then I heard Outback was leaving that spot. And I've had the Green Marlin idea longer than I had Chive.
I remember talking to
25
you
years I've had that
back
idea.
in 13, 14 about Green Marlin.
Yeah. It was an
Which was
idea
cool.
that was going to be done somewhere.
Right.
I just didn't know where. So when they left that, I'm like, this is the spot. So I jumped on it. I met with Michael Richter, which is the owner of that building.
The owner of almost every building in Vero now.
Well,
yeah.
he's doing very well, but he's dedicated to making sure that locals have a great voice in this town. And I know he was working with a larger chain that was going to take that over and spend a lot of money remodeling over there, and he ended up going with us instead.
That's great. I love that. I mean, it's so funny because in Vero there's this, we don't want outsiders in here. They'll ruin it, this and that. And then you hear a story like that about Rector. It's like he could have easily had, I don't know who the
easily
other
guaranteed
was,
money. You're talking about
is.
There's not a deep well behind me. It's me and Chive. That is the well we're drawing from. So if I don't make it, there's no one you can hit up for some money.
Right.
The franchise that was going in there had other franchise stores that they could draw money from or something.
Right. Sure.
A big corporate account, which I did not have. But
so little kudos to Rector there for
and I think he liked the Chive concept, which he did know of.
So we talked about Chive, where you go in and it's Chipotle style if you've never been there.
Fast casual.
Yep. You walk in, you tell them the type of meat or vegetables you want, and you could throw, I don't know, how many different things? Are there 50 different things you can throw on?
The combinations, if you multiply it out, it's in the trillions.
Right.
Of the combinations you can do. But you got, slow roasted pork that we make there. You got steak, shrimp, fresh mahi, fresh scallops. What else do we have?
I always get a grilled shrimp salad, and I have like kind of my 10 or 15 things that I love to throw on it, and then it's like the best salad you can get. It really is.
Chive chop is, I get that every
time. Chive chop salad.
It is
Andy
so
loves
good.
chive chop.
Oh, it's so good. I get it every time. Sorry.
Yeah.
It's got a good kick to it.
Oh yeah. I add jalapenos too.
Oh, you do? So you really like it spicy.
Oh, yeah.
But that we have a suggestion menu for people that do not want to make up their own mind. We made up menus probably about 3 or 4 years ago because we were just to build your own, walk in and know that you have to be creative enough to come up with your own thing right off the bat. I said, well, some people just don't like this. They're walking out. They're frustrated. They're scared.
Right.
They're not creative, and it's not. Some people are creative. Some people aren't.
Sure. Well, I'm not creative. I found something I liked, and I get the exact same thing every time.
But if you didn't have a good experience that first time, you probably wouldn't come back. So it's very important for us staff to get to people, get them a menu in their hand because they're comfortable with that, and then see, well, you have a menu, but these are really just suggestions.
Sure.
That we know taste good together. So grab one of those as they're making it in front of you. Have them tweak it. Add
throw
something, take
something on
off.
there, some craisins or something.
Or if you want to sit at the bar, we offer full service at the bar all the time.
So you and I talked about this in the past. So at Chive, it's counter service only, unless you're at the bar. You can get bar service, but that doesn't work for some people.
Yeah.
What do you do to those people? So like I walk in, I got my family, I want to sit down, I want to be waited on. That's not really practical at Chive, but your answer is, well, I've got Green Marlin. I've got a place that you can come to.
There's we tried a little bit to add some servers over at Chive and go to the tables. It doesn't work there's several different reasons why it doesn't work. The way
It's
the
just
food,
simply not practical for that type of restaurant.
no,
I understand.
the food comes out of the kitchen in a way that you may have people standing in line ordering food and getting it made, and then a table with a ticket getting made. They may not get made in a manner that you're used to getting the product. Like your table may get 3 of the entrees, and then my staff has to make food for 5 people, and then they make 2 other entrees, and it comes out in a staggered form, which makes people very
that doesn't
angry.
work. Yeah.
And rather than do it poorly, we just don't do it. And I just say, well, I think you're going to be happy if you go to the Green Marlin. You'll find that traditional service. And it really takes away who we are. Chive is unique in the fact that you can get to all these crazy things, and you can do be who you are there. I don't want to take that away. I never want to. It changes who we are. It changes why we are successful. And I don't want to do it.
No, I love it. Stick to what you're good at.
But if you do, I mean, the bar, we have 35 seats at the bar. You can sit at the bar, and a bartender will take your order. You do have a sheet where you can just check off items and get it made for you. So
That's my style.
And a bunch of big TVs too.
Yeah, 7 TVs in the center.
Yeah, Andy and I, we go there probably once a week, and we sit at the bar, and it's lunchtime.
Full liquor, 24 different drafts. There's a lot of options there.
Yeah.
I always say Chive is for happy people. Like a little more laid back, You're not stressed out. And then Green Marlin's traditional. You're gonna have people that they fall into either categories. A lot of people fall into both.
Right.
And obviously we do.
That's me.
people
I just
vote.
like to eat, so I
I
fall
do
into every
too.
category
But
with food.
that's the variety. I can't imagine going same place every. And I know people that do. The 5 days a week they'll go to the same restaurant and get the same thing. I don't think that's where we're heading as a society. We are very much like we like variety a little bit more,
Sure.
and we do like to see what we're getting before we buy it. That's why I like Chive, and that's initially why I like Chipotle. They had the food out there. I'm like, well, that looks dry. I don't want that. Like, let me look at this. The pork looks better than that.
Right.
But we actually, a lot of our stuff, it didn't. I thought it was going to be like the Chipotle style, but it ended up not being like that because you cannot keep fresh seafood on a steam table. You have to saute it to order. So Chive evolved into this quick service saute station.
Right.
So we're doing shrimp saute. We're sauteing steak from raw and putting it right on your plate as you pay for it. You're not going to get
shrimp down.
Yeah,
all
you
day.
hear that.
I hear
Shrimp
that. I
down,
don't know
steak
I don't
down.
know what the hell all day means, but I hear it all the time when I'm in.
total amount. So if they called one shrimp and I'm making that shrimp and then they added a shrimp, they would say 2 all day.
Gotcha. Okay.
So you know exactly. There's one that you started and then one that I just added.
That way the
Okay.
cook can keep track. Like, okay, wait, he's giving me 7, but the all day means on the grill right now I should have 7.
Okay. All right. I did. That's news to me.
Well,
I just
it's
hear him
kinda
say
cool.
it.
You get to
and,
see that. You see the process that you do not usually see in a restaurant. You see there, and it is different from a chain or fast food restaurant. These guys are actually doing real cooking. They're sautéing is a real thing, and we use younger people. We don't usually have, classically trained sauté chefs at Chive. But what a lot of these kids, once they learn how to sauté, they don't realize that they would be great at almost any restaurant that they went to as a sauté chef because, number one, they don't have tickets in front of them.
Right.
They have to remember everything they're doing.
Right.
And you do some of
It's
the
a skill
dishes,
set.
you have to combine the vegetables, the protein, and the sauce. So you are actually making dishes that you didn't realize that you're a sauté chef and that you could probably hang with most sauté chefs at any restaurant. And they're proud. A lot of the kids are proud when they get to that point where they go from being, building the salads and building the plates to a sauté position because it's very important. You overcook it, takes seconds to overcook it, and then you're done.
Right. Well, yeah, I mean, when it takes 30 seconds to get from here to there, 35 seconds is past there.
And
So,
seafood, shrimp, the steak going because we slice it thin, so we want it to cook fast.
Sure.
We're going from raw.
Right.
We want a hot pan cooking very fast, and it literally you're 10, 15 seconds over, and it went from medium to well done.
Right.
From the time that you walked the pan from here and dumped it onto a plate.
It's definitely a skill set. So, all right, so let's get back to the timeline. Green Marlin opens, Chive is on Royal Palm. You're not going to get a renewed lease at Royal Palm, and then you find
they had failed at 21st Street Tap House, and it was empty.
Right. So you move in there.
Called up Billy Moss, which if you're going to open a restaurant in town, you're going to call Billy Moss
over at Lambert, right?
Yeah.
Yep. So Billy finds this place for you,
Yeah.
and it's perfect. The chive that you had, listen, the little chive was fine for me. And again, I'm speaking as a consumer.
Yeah.
Little chive was fine. It was small. You couldn't, it was mostly to go. Royal Palm was cool. It was a nice little spot. I fucking love
Yeah,
where you
the
are
big-
now.
the big
It
one
is
is
the
awesome.
spot, man. It is
Outside
perfect.
seating.
Oh, the TVs, the bar service,
Yep.
all the tables. I mean, it really does fit your model. And on the flip
add a
side,
bar.
I think Green Marlin is perfect for what it is. You've got a nice bar.
Yeah.
You've got great seating. You've got all of that. So now we're going to get into, I mean, we've been doing this 30 minutes or something like that. How did you open these restaurants? How did you let the public know that Chive exists? How did you let the public know that?
I hyped Chive up. I started talking about Chive probably 5 months before we opened. I had shirts made. I had hats made. We were on Facebook worked a lot better then. They didn't limit how much got out.
Right.
without-
Yeah.
I mean,
that was back when business pages, if you followed a business page, everybody would see it. Now, I don't know if you knew this, 8 to 10% of the people that follow your page will see your posts organically. And that's a
Yeah.
suppression that's
Oh, they
purpose-
suppressed it.
that-
Oh, they
that-
did
That's
it.
purposeful for
I know
Facebook,
that
and
it
they
was
let you
suppressed.
know that. They tell you that.
Yeah, 'cause they
because they
want
want you
to
to pay to hit the rest of the
I
people.
get it.
That's
They're
why we
getting-
exist.
They're getting
but
paid.
yeah.
They're getting paid for the years that we got free. I guess I used to get thousands of likes on pictures, and now I get
Right.
2,
Right.
3.
Well, you're not paying. I mean, that's
I'm
ultimately
not.
what Facebook, they want you to pay, and
Yeah.
that's, they're kind of they're like the online mafia now. But
Yeah,
But-
we hyped it up that way. I had the shirts made because we had the Chive name.
Yeah.
And at that time, that Keep Calm Chive On was very
oh
popular.
yeah, yep. And there's a Chive app, which is
Yeah. No, I had it. I had all that, and I used to get people tell me that, oh, we saw your shirts. We were in Georgia. We saw your shirts. Like, well, you didn't see my shirts.
Probably wasn't
but
my
you
shirt.
saw a Keep
The shirt
Calm
that said
Chive On.
Chive.
I just like that. I like the name Chive because it was one word. I like it's simple and it just says fresh.
Yeah.
The green. As soon as you hear Chive, you think green.
Yeah. No,
Fresh.
I love it. That's how you came up with the name. You said that.
We threw a lot of names. Travis and I threw a lot of names around, and
I like the Wild Time too. THYME.
that one took
That's pretty
that
cool.
one took us
Yeah.
a while too.
But I love Chive. I think it's a great name. Like you said, it's recognizable. It's one
Yeah.
word. It's
But when you see if you see a chili pepper with an S on it, what is that?
Red Hot Chili. Oh well, Chili's.
Chili's.
Yeah, Chili's. I'm thinking Red Hot Chili
No,
Peppers.
but if you
yeah,
see
chili
that with an S, you know that's that brand recognition. So in my
Right.
head, I worked on that onion, and I drew it. I did all the design for it. The little onion with that little swoop.
Right.
I want people to eventually say, "Oh, that's Chive."
Yeah.
That little swooping green onion is Chive.
Build
That's
that
great.
brand longevity.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I
I
love
mean,
that.
I don't really go to too many chains anymore, but the one thing that they're fantastic at, or they have been, what got them to where they're at, is that they were really good at branding themselves.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
And the Green Marlin is becoming a brand. It wasn't a brand until probably last year and a half. I think COVID made us. We were connected to the community greater because of COVID, because we did open as a market. We did not close. We kept everybody employed. We did give away free burgers and beers on Friday nights. Anybody that was out of work.
Right.
We are a brand now,
Yeah.
and Chive has been a brand for years.
Right.
But Green Marlin wasn't. It was a restaurant, maybe a cool thing, but it is becoming a brand.
I think people don't realize how important and how difficult branding is.
Yeah,
Branding's fucking hard.
yeah. To get it to stick.
Hard.
Well,
And your
you've just
brand
gotta
isn't your
pound-
logo.
You've
It's-
got to, yeah. I mean, branding and
That's another
yeah.
misconception I think
Yeah.
people.
But you've got to. I mean, you've got to beat it into people's brains.
It has to. You really need to get it to the point where people are like, "This is what I feel I'm hungry for."
Right.
Yep.
In my business, I'm
It's an
going,
emotion,
okay,
right?
I need this once in my life,
Yeah.
or once a week in my life. I have to do this Chive, or I have to do a fresh mahi sandwich, or a grouper finger basket. I got to do it.
Right.
Or the swordfish. We've been getting really popular for the swordfish Louisiana. We do now.
I know Andy's all excited. Andy Siegel's all excited about some swordfish or something that you
Well,
get.
pumpkin swordfish when we do get it in.
Yeah, I know. It's
Yeah,
like,
I
what is
usually
pumpkin
try to
swordfish?
call him, but he's usually there for lunch 1 or 2 days a
Yeah,
week. Anyway.
he's made it a part of his life.
The tuna bomb. The tuna bomb, when you get creative on something and you hit a nerve with people, the tuna bomb is something, it's we take the center cut of the tuna, wrap it in basil and tahini, and then wrap it in an egg roll wrapper, deep fry it for a minute 20. It sears it perfectly, and then we put sesame seeds, sriracha aioli, wasabi aioli, and a sweet and spicy soy on it. That is to date, that's the most creative app that I've come up with. It's decent. It's
if you're not
It's
hungry
getting people to come
after
in.
listening
Yeah,
to
Andy,
that,
we're
you're
going to Green
crazy.
Marlin for lunch.
Well-
yeah.
Well, people are coming in and before they order anything else, they're like, okay, let's start. Before they get drinks, they're like, let's get a tuna bomb started. And then they go with the process there. They already know they're getting the tuna bomb. So it's, I'm hoping we're going to get a lot more. And we will. We're going to have other apps that before Chive, even before there, was at the Long Branch. Remember that?
Oh God, yeah.
We remodeled the Long Branch and took that kitchen over and started Wild Time out of that little spot. But when I was there,
But that's
we did the
Inti
Reuben
now, right?
Yeah, we did the Reuben egg rolls.
Oh, those are my favorite.
And we became
Yeah.
little famous for the Reuben egg rolls. Now that's not an original idea because those have been around. I just took it and made it my style, where
Sure.
it was all evenly cut and it didn't burn your mouth when a big piece of pastrami came or corned beef came out and hit you in the chin. But that was a good one that got people like, oh, I got to have that.
Yeah,
Now the
I
tuna
love
bob is
those.
taking over.
Yeah, I'll take the Reuben egg rolls over the tuna bomb.
Yeah.
I just love those
But
Reuben
you
egg
know,
rolls. They're so good.
we're a seafood joint.
Yeah. Oh well. You
Although
gotta
we
have
are
it.
an Irish pub, we didn't talk about why it's called the Green Marlin.
Yeah,
which confuses people.
What's funny is I remember the first time, like I said, 2013, 2014, you told me about this concept, and I was like, this doesn't make sense to me. The Irish pub and the seafood thing
Yeah.
together, that doesn't. Those are two things you don't really hear together too
Never.
often.
No.
Yeah.
But I think they do eat a decent amount of seafood in Ireland.
Well, I'm
more than,
sure, but when I think of Irish pub, I think of like Meg O'Malley's, or I
Yeah.
think of maybe Sean Ryan, or I think of Kelly's. I don't associate those places with seafood.
That's fine. That's
what I love about Green Marlin.
I want to combine things that don't sometimes go together. I did it when I remodeled houses. I would take a Key West style, Mediterranean style, and I would smash them together, and I would do it, and it would work.
Yeah.
So that's one thing about being creative, is that you can take things that maybe shouldn't go together and put them together. And it happens with our sauces at Chive.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if we have one called the Steak Down Bowl that has a horseradish cream and a sweet and spicy soy sauce that are mixed in there. Now those don't sound good together, right?
Well, I'm sure they are, but you're right. I don't associate all of those
Yeah.
things together in one. Yeah.
But I did that one day and I'm like, that's crazy. Like how good they taste together. I don't know
Right.
why they taste good together, but they do. So that is one thing that you can get over there that you probably won't have that flavor. They will never touch each other.
right.
Except
Anywhere
in the
else in the
experience
world.
at Chive.
Right. So let's get back to this. So Chive, I'll tell you how I found out about Chive and how I met you. I was actually at a bar playing in a band.
Yeah.
And you came out and you're like, hey, I really like your music. Here's $10 and a Chive menu. And I was like, what the fuck is this? I've never,
Yeah.
I think you dropped your menu on the floor. Like, no, it's this for you.
That was
And
at
I
Mike
came-
Terry's bar. the
Yeah,
Terry's-
yeah, it was
Terry
the
Brothers,
dugout.
yeah.
Which doesn't exist anymore. And I was like, oh, I gotta try this place. I come in and I get a steak salad or something, and it's like, holy shit, this is really good. And I've been a customer for life. I mean, your
Yeah,
lifetime value on that $10 tip
Worked out, right?
It's thousands now.
It is something we go over with the staff that you know, number one, it's very easy to, the easiest thing you're going to do all day is just be nice to somebody when they
Yeah.
walk in the door. That's
Yeah.
so easy.
Yeah.
But we do still have to drill it into some people that, you know, just a smile when they walk in the door changes. I mean, I know I've gone to restaurants when they don't even acknowledge you walking in the door, and I'm just like, okay.
Yeah, this is going to be a
Like,
bad experience.
This is not going to go
Yeah.
well for anybody here.
Yeah.
I don't even want to be here. Already, I don't want to be here.
Right. And I haven't started.
Yeah,
And
and-
it should be an experience.
Yeah.
It's not just a meal. It's not just
Yeah.
nutrition. It's you spend, listen, you spend
You
a lot of
worked
money
hard.
when you go
You
out.
worked hard
Yeah.
for that money. Everybody works hard for their money, and where they decide to spend it is a treat for us to have you in. It's like coming to my house. I would do the same thing if we weren't getting paid for it. I'd get you a drink and I'd make you some food because.
Right.
But that's the part I told you earlier about the people that have that in them that want to do that for people are coming back to that will be in this business, and the ones that don't will be gone.
Right. So Chive, that's how you got people to know about that. What'd you do with Green Marlin?
Green Marlin, we did the same thing. We got
Just pounded the
shirt-
pavement.
One of the first things I do is I go get shirts made, I go get hats made, and I make
Right.
it look like we're already an established
Right.
thing. And then
Oh,
people
what
are
is
like,
that? Where do I find that
Well,
place?
going back to Chive, people were like, I saw them being like, I don't know what Chive is, but I have to be there when it opens. Like,
Exactly.
but it was easier when Facebook lets you get some free stuff out
Right.
there.
Right.
And it
Well, I
would've
mean,
been
trust
harder.
me, it's a problem. It's why we're in business. It's one of the reasons why we're in business, because Facebook has kind of changed this model. Where
Yeah, and you will do well.
And people don't know. they think that that's just the end of Facebook now. Okay, well, I can't reach everybody that I was reaching before. I guess I'm done. And a lot of what we do is educating business owners. No, you're not done. It's going to cost you some money, but you can still get what you had before.
There's other ways to get to people for sure. We
Right.
are exploring it. I'm really not dumping a lot of money anywhere until I can figure it out better.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, you want to do your research and not waste money. I mean,
It is,
that's-
and then sometimes you are wasting money and you're throwing it at old ideas that don't get to people anymore, and I think that's frustrating. I did for a while. I switched to giving all this stuff back to the customers. We did when we were open on Mondays at Green Marlin, and we will reopen when we get enough staff to. But I did the lobster night.
Oh yeah.
I took a hit on lobster. I probably broke even or made a couple bucks.
Right.
But I decided, okay, instead of spending $1,500 or $1,800 a month advertising, wherever it was, I'm just going to give that to my customers.
Right. It's a brilliant concept.
Well,
Yeah.
it's
a
actually
gamble.
it's a break even concept.
Yeah.
I'm not spending money.
Right.
I'm just breaking even on a special.
Right. Right.
So,
A lost leader is what you
Yeah,
call it in the market.
but
Yep.
I didn't spend $1,500. I spent zero actually.
Right. Right. Yeah. Because
And as
people
long as
came in
and the
they-
word of mouth was spreading more and more, and we ended up doing, we started out we're doing like 8 or 12 lobsters a night. When we stopped doing it, we were doing 75 to 100 lobsters a night. So
insane.
it's
Still not making a lot of money, but you're
No,
getting a
you
lot of
don't-
people in the
but-
door. And again, lifetime value is
They're
through
buying-
the roof.
Buying cocktails and they're getting.
They were getting
appetizers.
they were having 3 glasses of wine instead of 1
Right,
because they're like,
exactly.
I got such a good deal on that. I'm gonna spend my money
Right,
on more
right,
drinks.
Right.
And we have great drink prices too. We have all day, every day happy hour. It's always like, I tried to, when I opened the Green Marlin, I was going to follow the concept that, okay, you have very high drink prices, and then for 2 happy hours a day, or a 4 to or a 3 to 6 or whatever happy hour,
Like a 9 to
it's going to be half
close
off
or something. Right.
So I'm going to have $10 drinks, and then they're going to be $5
Right.
when it's happy hour. Well, what I noticed was, number one, the bar would clear out right as happy hour ended. There was no one there.
Right. Right.
Empty. And then the people that did come in were like, man, I had 2 drinks and it was more than my food.
Yeah.
So I was like, we're not doing this. We're going
That's
to
a
drop the
problem.
prices. All the prices come down. And initially we dropped all those prices to, I think they were like $4.50 or $5 for all even I think the calls. The wells were like 4, calls were like 5. We have gone up since then, but initially I just said we're just going to have inexpensive or fair prices all the time, so you
Sure.
don't feel like you're getting ripped off when you come at 7:30 on a Friday night and you had 2 drinks and you spent $30 on drinks or something.
Yeah, that would rub me the wrong way, and I probably wouldn't.
So
come back
that's
for
why we
drinks
say
too often.
all day, every day happy hour,
Yeah.
where we
Love
just
it.
have fair prices all the time. And we do have specials on certain things that are great deals, like the $5.99. We have a rum drink.
Mm-hmm.
The Goombay Smash is always that. I think my Guinness is $5.99 all the time. And then at Chive we have $3.50 margaritas and $5.50 Tito's all day, every day. So you have really good specials all the time.
Right.
And then you have just fair prices on everything else.
Right. So, again, I talk marketing. That's all I really care about.
Mm-hmm.
Andy, like I said, has had
Dude.
extensive
Not as much as him,
experience
but-
in,
Hey, you need a
in
job?
the restaurant bar industry.
Come on, buddy.
And so usually what happens is I end these podcasts. I'm like, all right, I'm done. I have all my questions answered. And then Andy's like, no, wait a minute. I want to know.
Yeah.
I mean, honestly, I don't have any questions. Just more so, I love how many great points you made. Just as a former restaurateur
Yeah.
myself, and it's to kind of go back to one of your first points about a lot of people get into it thinking that I can do this as a business owner. You have to be invested. You have to put your time in it, especially
Yeah.
at a restaurant, because every single server, every cook, every bartender is an extension of yourself, and therefore an extension of your brand. And I think that's true with any business. Is you've got to be hands-on, because your employees also represent your brand, and
Yeah.
you don't want that
They're just as important as the product, because number one, the welcoming. I said when you walk in the building, I always tell new staff, and I remind old staff, like when they walk in the building, it's like they walked into your house. So how awkward is it if somebody walks in your house and you looked at them and just let them walk by? What? Like, it's awkward for everybody now.
Right.
Like, say hello to them. They're like, hey, how you doing? What's up?
I will say that the bartender at or whoever seems to be working at Chive is very good at that.
Yeah.
Like every time I've walked in, it's hey, how you doing? Welcome to Chive.
Well, I always made the argument to my former servers was, what if that table walking in happens to be sat in your section? Now their first impression of you is, oh, she didn't want to take care of us.
Yeah.
Right.
Now she's taking care of us. So it's just those little things you don't think about. It's big picture. You know, if the restaurant does well, I do well.
It's not the restaurant business, not any other business. It's about being a human being to someone else. When you see them, say hello to them.
Absolutely.
I don't even consider not saying hi to
Right,
somebody
right.
when
It's rude.
Even when I walk by somebody, if I'm in Publix and I walk by another human being, I'm like, hi. Like,
A wave or something, and
A nod.
acknowledgement.
I think we're losing a little bit of that. And
Yeah.
as the younger kids grow up, they are more on their phones and everything. They don't have as many skills too. But you make eye contact with somebody, I think you should be like, hey.
You say, just to bring up a point, you say kids are on their phones nowadays.
Yeah.
Obviously, that's one of the biggest frustrations about servers on their phones. I actually used to do a thing where I said, if I catch you on your phone, then you have to take a picture of a product and post about it.
That's a good idea.
So do you have any sort of stuff like that?
No,
where
I
you-
just take their phone.
That's what I used to do. Then it turned into just negative Nancy the rest of the shift. And I
know.
realized, you know what? Make it sort of an incentive.
I put it. I've actually gone home with it because I put it in my apron that I have on
forget.
No,
now.
yeah.
I'll get home like, man,
You start vibrating like, wait a second.
I can't call them because I got their phone. So I'd have to
Look
run
up
it
their
back
mom's
to them.
number.
Yeah, we have to. That's something we're never going to have to deal with. I know they're going to be on it. I know they're going to do this. I just really press them during our peak volume hours. If I find you on your phone, it's termination.
Oh,
we don't
absolutely.
we can't play that game. You're worried about where you're going later tonight, and these people are paying for your service at that time.
Friday, Saturday night, middle of dinner rush, absolutely not.
No,
But
I think
you know,
I think ours is like 11:30 to 1:30. You're terminated if I catch you on. I think it's
Wow.
Yeah.
It's
dude,
great.
well,
I
think
love
it's
it.
Restaurant business,
6 to
you've got to
8.
be on
Yeah.
point. You know, they joked Seinfeld about the soup Nazi, but to a small degree, that is sort of the
Yeah.
mentality. You know, but to go back to what he said, you still have to have that human factor.
Yeah.
You know, but you have to be diligent about what's going on.
Yeah, there's a balance of being mildly aggressive when you tell people to do stuff.
That's a
I
perfect
try
way
not
put
to,
it. Yeah.
but if you haven't done something and it's the third and fourth time that I've told you, then you're going to get a different managing style from me. And I do have a good degree of management. My first management is to give you all the information you need and make sure that you have the tools you need to do your job. And as we don't get the right response from you, it may get a little more stern. I may be a little short with you. So I'm a little short all the time, I guess.
Well, that's the beauty of providing them all the information. You say, look, I've provided you the information.
Yes.
You know, so therefore I can hold you accountable for having to know it.
I try to make sure that they have everything they need, especially I've worked in kitchens where stuff didn't work. It makes it very hard to be
Oh, yeah.
creative
Oh, yeah.
and good. When I worked at one place where the flat top would turn off randomly, and then you'd be like cooking something, like there's no heat on it at all anymore.
Oh my gosh.
And it'd be 7:30 on a Friday night, like, and you have to like jiggle it around or stick your hand in here. And the owner would be like, yeah, just tap
Oh,
it 3
God,
times like
that's-
that. Pick this up, dude. I'm like, I got 20
Workers'
tickets on the
compensation
board. I don't
nightmare
have time
right
to do
there,
that.
yeah.
I'm like, just fix it. Just
Right.
fix it for us, or buy a new one.
Right.
You got to
Um,
invest it, especially in
Yeah.
the restaurant business.
My stuff breaks, we fix it
Yeah.
within the day, or they're out there in an hour they're out there fixing it because number one, everything has to be running correctly for coolers and all that stuff. But
You want whatever the customer orders to be the same every single time.
yeah,
And if product or
well, you won't
piece of
keep.
equipment's down, it's not going to happen.
I don't work for that company that did that to me, right?
Right.
Exactly.
Yeah. No,
And I was a general manager for them, and I would have to get online and help, and I'd be like, I understand why these guys don't like their jobs. Like they can't.
You
The
need
stuff
support.
doesn't work.
Yeah.
So I'm pretty big on that. We spend a lot of money on fixing things, but
But it's got to be right.
yeah,
Yeah. No, I get
yeah,
that.
I don't play around with that. We have to. Number one, you will get angry. Everybody will be angry, and nobody wants to be there, and they won't be your employees anymore, and then your customers aren't going to get good food, and it's
Right.
a
Snowball effect.
a high-stress
They can
environment.
shut a restaurant
Yeah.
down real quick.
yeah, it's something that has to be monitored all the time. We do morale goes up and down, up in waves. I see it with from my management staff all the way to the dishwashers. It goes in waves.
Yeah.
But
Well-
where we were still on moving Chive. Did
No,
we ever
we
get
were
through that.
No, we were. Yeah, you already moved Chive.
Yeah.
We were on Green Marlin and how you got people to know about Green
so
Marlin.
Mark, we did the Buggy Bunch.
Okay.
I picked a charity and got on board with that. I gave $100 gift card away. That $100 gift card got 85,000 views and 1,100 comments.
It's amazing. amazing.
Yeah,
I ended up
$100.
I gave away 2 $100 gift cards. I was like, that I got a lot of value right there.
Oh God, yeah.
And that was all just advertising our Buggy Bunch event, which was a $30 ticket, free food, free bar, the whole thing, and it generated so much publicity. We ended up putting, I think I had enough for 375 people to come in. I think 425 people got in the door.
God.
I don't know how. I think they got to the door and they're
Don't
like,
tell the fire marshal. Yeah.
no, it was done properly.
Yeah, okay.
It's pre-COVID.
I
too,
didn't.
so.
Everybody was saying no. I know Lou, and they were letting them in. Like they don't. You can't just let people in. They didn't have a ticket. It doesn't. Why did we sell tickets then? If they just say, oh, I know Lou, and
I'm
they
gonna
just
try
walk in the
that
door.
next time. I'll be like, I know Lou. He was on this podcast.
My staff complains about that all the time. They're like, customers are like, I know Lou.
Yeah.
We're like, so do we.
Yeah, like that means anything. Yeah, I mean,
I do.
it's
I
cool
do
that I know
somebody,
you, but I'm not
but
expecting any special service.
I don't know what he didn't. If I call the restaurant and said, oh, by the way, this person's coming by and I'd like to buy them this, well, that's different. But just saying, going in the restaurant and saying, I know Lou, and they were like, yeah, I don't. What do you want me to do for you?
I mean, that right there tells you how much time you spend and invest in your own business.
Oh, I do.
The only time I've ever
love
used
talking
that,
with
it's
customers.
funny because the guy's sitting right there. But I was in New York City. Barry, who's sitting over here, one of the owners of Studio 60 here that we're sitting in. I'm in New York. I text him, or somehow he knows I'm there. And he says, hey, you got to try this breakfast place. Penelope's, right? Is that what it's called? Penelope's, yep. So I'm like, all right, cool. So he says, tell him I sent you there. I'm like, who the fuck's this guy? Like, all right, whatever. So my wife and I go in there for breakfast, and woman helps us. And I said, yeah, we're here. Barry sent us. Barry Shapiro sent us. And she says, oh, we were expecting you. Oh,
Yeah.
you were?
Yeah.
Oh, well, all right. We get in, we sit down, and I'm not exaggerating when I say it was the best breakfast I've ever had in my life. And it was just cool. It was cool to use that. But I would never go into a restaurant, to one of your restaurants.
Yeah.
Oh, well, I know Lou, I'm going to do what I want. I'm going to go sit down.
You'd be
People are
surprised.
crazy.
Well,
can't believe
sometimes
people
I do tell people I'll be at Chive helping them out. Kind of bounce back and forth all day long.
Right,
I'll be
right.
bartending over at Chive, and I'll have people talking about, I'm like, man, I really like oysters. I'm like, hey,
Yeah, you got to try. Yeah.
you're at the wrong restaurant. Go to my
Right.
other restaurant and
Right.
tell them Lou sent you over there, and they will do that. And then when I get off and I help them out at Chive on Friday nights, and then I head over to Marlin and see how they've done. I'll see people that I've sent over there.
Still hanging out
Yeah,
at
and
the
then
bar.
I'll go and have a beer with them. And
So, but
Exactly.
you're giving the hostess a heads up, though, right? Or is it just like
That sort of
sometimes
is the
I
heads
do
up to a
I do if
degree.
that if maybe something was wrong or something, I will give them a heads up. But otherwise, I'm just telling them what we got. I'm not
Gotcha.
telling them to do anything special for them.
Gotcha.
Like, look,
Oh, okay.
you came
I
over
say,
here.
yeah, Lou sent me. Okay, well, I'm getting treated just like everybody else.
Well, no, I'll be joking with them. Like, Lou told me to come over here.
Oh, okay.
I had to come meet Casey, the bartender, and have a dozen oysters.
Right.
And they will be happy. And then I usually get there within a half hour after sending them over, and it's
Hang
just a
out
good
with 'em.
experience. I don't know that I think I'm pretty lucky that I get to do all these things and be creative and hang out with people and make the bonds that I have, and I don't feel like I'm working.
I think that's the reward for being a good restaurateur. If that's even how you say it. Restaurateur?
Restaurateur.
Restaurateur? Whatever you call it. Being a good restaurant owner. I think that's the
Amen.
benefit. I think that's the benefit, like the advantage of being a good one is you do get to reap those benefits.
Yeah, there's high stress, but there's high reward because
Right,
it's fulfilling. But
We talked earlier about how all these people that want to own a restaurant think, oh, well, I'm just going to go hang out, with my buddies on
Yep.
that side of the bar, and they don't
Yeah,
really
well,
do
no,
that.
he said fulfilling. I mean, honestly, there's moments, this may sound cheesy, but like giving someone that perfect experience at a restaurant can really, like, you see it make a family's day or a couple's day.
Yep.
It's like, okay, that's cool. I contributed, I helped out to that.
it's part of the process of being an artist in any form. Like I like looking at art, and they do things to you, but I can see your facial expression when you taste my food, and a server brings it
Oh,
out.
I'm reading the body language all day when you're in the restaurant.
But
Absolutely.
and Chive too. I can see the anticipation of when their first time there, and then they see the guy saute like steak and then put it on top of their salad, and they're like, people are like, "That's mine! Like you just made that, and it's gone on plate, and it's in my hand."
Yep.
And they're starting to like salivate, and then they taste it, and they're so happy, and the staff gets to interact with that happiness. The
Exactly.
cooks at Green Marlin don't get that interaction, which we do have something really cool over there. I just added a bell to the outside in the dining room, and you can buy the kitchen staff a round of beers for $12. So if
I
you
think
go
we
over
heard
there,
that actually.
Yeah.
I was wondering what that was.
so but you can go ring the bell now. Before you could just do it as on the menu.
Yeah.
I put a rope in the dining room and the bell's in the kitchen. So if you pull the rope, it'll ring the bell,
That is
in the kitchen.
awesome.
So if it's a busy night and those guys are working their tails off and that bell rings, they knew somebody is appreciating that they're
that's
working
great.
hard.
Oh, I
think-
love that concept.
Yeah, if you ring the bell once, it's for the cooks. If you ring it twice, it's for the servers. If you ring it 3 times, it's for the whole house. So it would cost $24 to buy the front and the back of the house a beer, which I
awesome.
think is
I love
pretty-
That's a
that.
great
I don't
thing
make any
at
money on
restaurants
it. I
too.
probably
Yeah.
lose a little bit, but
Yeah, but it's helping out the staff.
oh, the
and it's a way
morale when they
for
hear
the-
that
yeah.
when they hear that bell ring, that's
And
really
that's
cool.
creating that good camaraderie. And like you said, it's different from Chive as a restaurant because I feel, in my experience, the expo can create a lot of issues because
Yeah.
if you don't make sure it goes out perfect, then you're going to have an issue with it coming back, and that's going to slow down the next order and so on and so forth. Whereas, like you said, the benefit of Chive is
right.
you're seeing it
You're
made
seeing
in
it.
front of you. If you see it's messed up as a customer, you're going to say, hey, oh, no, I didn't want that on.
Yeah. Well, also, you're the creator of that dish.
Exactly.
Like, we didn't. You did that to yourself.
Right,
Like when you
exactly.
had when you get the beans and rice and chicken and sour cream. Like you did that. I
What did you
that
think
to
that was going to taste
Yeah,
like?
yeah, yeah.
Yeah, the most bland thing you've ever had. Like sour cream
Full
doesn't even
circle.
have much flavor.
Oh, I love it.
It's funny. I told you that we would be here at 2:15 at the latest, and I think we're
time is
past
it?
that.
Oh,
'Cause this has
2:18,
gone
3
so
minutes,
well.
3
This
minutes.
has
Well,
gone so well. This is
Oh,
great.
I could talk about my restaurants all day.
I love it.
I might have to talk to this guy about bartender for him in a couple nights.
Yeah, you'd have fun. You'd have fun.
just for the fun, man.
I bartended for 10 years. I never cooked.
Yeah.
I don't have any culinary training. I was a bartender. So
You're a liquid chef, is what I used to call myself.
yeah,
Yeah.
I became a general manager when I graduated from college, and I realized that I was as good or better than my cooks. When I had to get online and help them, and I'm like, I'm pretty good at cooking.
It's funny how that works, right?
Yeah, but then I had been making myself these mayonnaise-based different sauces for my ramen noodles, so I had that going for me.
Right? You're getting like culinary 101 in the dorm
right.
room.
And break it down.
I have no if you see how I got to my final product on some of the stuff that I do, you'd be like, that doesn't make any sense. I'm like, it does for me because that's
One of
and
the
that's why
first
we're a
things
little
you
bit
said,
different.
those key ingredients. That
Yeah.
seafood, that's one of the most frustrating things in Florida is saying, hey, fresh seafood, and it's not.
I was in the Keys. Well, it was 3 years ago when I was on vacation, but I went to one of the little bars on the water. I'm like, yeah, I think I'm just gonna get a mahi sandwich. They're like, it's frozen. I'm like, what?
In
Yeah.
Key West.
Like what?
Yeah.
Why is it frozen?
I could go catch one right now. It's like right there.
Yeah.
I'm like,
That's a start to a great dish, though. I mean, if you start off with a great product,
yeah.
I mean, I don't say it's hard to mess it up, but
I just left the restaurant. I try to start my conversation with everybody that walks in the building. I'm like, have you been here before? And if they're like, no, I'm like, we just cut the fish. I didn't cut it today. Mike, I don't let a lot of people cut the fish, but Mike was there. He was cutting the fish. Obviously, we were closed yesterday. We're closed on Monday, so it's all fresh.
So when the fish comes in, it comes in whole?
We come
Every
in whole
fish?
sides.
Okay.
Yeah, it's not, sometimes we have to take the pin bone out in the middle.
typically
But for
it's
most
set
part,
up to
it's
where
a
you can
slab.
fillet it, right?
Gotcha.
It's a slab, and we fillet it down into taco size or 6 ounce or 5 ounce, or some of them 7 ounce for the some of the specialty fish like grouper. We do it 7 ounces.
Gotcha. I had no idea how it would come in, so that's pretty cool.
I actually worked at a restaurant in Jacksonville. You may have heard of it, the Fish Camps.
No,
Maybe not. Well, you might check it out. You'd appreciate it.
Yeah.
Fresh fish, just unbelievable flavor. It's,
I would like to get out more and try other restaurants.
Yeah,
Just
and,
don't have the
it's
time,
legitimately
right?
fresh fish. And I say that because as a manager, I started as a bartender, and I stupidly went to manager, and I had to check in fresh fish every single day and be from 3 or 4 different guys.
Yeah, we got 2
pulling
different-
up with their boats
two
in the back. Hey man, it's like that is literally as fresh as it gets.
Yeah.
they
Yeah,
haven't
for
even
sure.
It's like I said, it's a different animal when you get fresh fish,
Yeah.
and we try to keep our prices as good as we can. I think, we got a couple fresh fish dishes for lunch that are like $14. The dinner entrees run around 24, 25. I'm gonna try to hold off raising the prices as long as I can, but everything is getting more expensive. But I don't mind paying it for it
right.
if it's really fresh. What I do mind is you telling me that it's fresh and it's
Fresh frozen.
not. or just that you ordered fresh, but you let it go for 6 or 7 days.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
I don't want to guess what I'm going to need for 6 or 7 days.
Right. Right.
I want to
you
guess
need it
what do I
every
need
day.
tonight. What do
Yeah.
I need tonight? Tuesday night, I think I ordered 10 pounds of mahi. I couldn't get grouper because it's $25 a pound right now.
Grouper was tough.
It's $25 a
What I
pound. It's
remember,
ridiculous.
yeah.
Yeah.
I got golden tile instead because golden tile is 17 a pound. Golden tile is a better fish than
I
grouper.
was just gonna say it's cheaper than
I may
grouper.
have to explain it to some people that
Yeah.
golden tile is better. But
Try it. Hey,
I'm
you've
getting
never
a
had it?
better
Try it.
deal
It's like the
on
stock
it.
market, okay? That's how fish work.
Yeah, and so we have golden tile today, so go over there and check it out. I think I have some grouper for tacos that we got.
Ooh,
I can
grouper tacos are awesome.
get better deals on smaller pieces, but the big slabs, the fillets, you're not going to get a good deal on those right now. And like the swordfish, we get a good deal on because we buy the imperfect cuts. So it's not a perfect fillet, but I don't care because I'm cutting it
'Cause
into
you're doing
a
it
taco
yourself anyway.
size.
Exactly.
Yeah, so it works out better that way. And if I get a good deal, I pass it on. We don't charge full price on something I got a good deal on.
Yeah. So I have one question, sort of bring it back to the marketing, social media. You mentioned about how you used to do the lobster dinners and how you broke
Yeah.
even. Since then, have you made any changes, any adaptations, or
On pricing?
no, as far as the way you're marketing your business, and or are you seeing an impact of social media towards your brand being built? Like you talked about Green Marlin being built. Do you think social media had help with that?
but it's less. It's less of me now because I do see people coming in and taking pictures and sharing it. That works better than me posting my specials. Sometimes I see more traction when people organically start talking about it.
Absolutely.
It's tough to find any. I'm not putting any more money into anything right now. What I am doing is taking those specials, and when we do reopen on Monday, we will bring that lobster night back. The dollar oysters, which oysters are up to 60 cents a piece, and after you put all the toppings and crackers in it, you're at 70 cents. So I'm charging dollar oysters, making 30 cents an oyster isn't real good. Then the labor and overhead, you're not making anything.
Oh yeah, restaurants.
Yeah.
It's all about the margins.
Yeah.
But I don't mind, breaking even on a dollar oyster because it's almost like a Friday night, 4 to 7 down there on Wednesday.
It'll bring people in for. I'll go to a restaurant for fresh oysters.
Yeah, and we get our oysters on today for tomorrow. We always get them on Tuesday, so that's the freshest you can get them. They get their delivery on Monday, then they deliver to us on Tuesday, and then we serve them on Wednesday because we got to shuck them.
First in, first out, best possible way.
Yeah, but I opened the Green Marlin because I was hoping somebody was going to open a restaurant like the Green Marlin, and I kept waiting for years, and nobody opened one. I'm like, all right.
I'm just gonna
guess
do it
I have
myself.
to.
The
Yeah.
Green Marlin's going to get opened here in Vero, and I'm going to not go down to Jupiter and not open the Chive down there, which I think Chive and Jupiter would have done fantastic.
Oh yeah.
I
Better
agree.
than it does here because it's a younger median age down there.
Right,
And median
right.
age here is higher. Chive should not do good in this town. It really shouldn't.
And you've had two
That
that have done
speaks to-
extremely well. Yeah.
Speaks to how well it runs.
Yeah, and the Marlin does very well. I understand why the Marlin does well. This is
Yeah.
more traditional. This is a wealthier town. They want seafood. They want fresh seafood.
You
So I
want
get
quality,
that.
yeah.
Chive, I never thought Chive was going to do good in this town. I just wanted a second business for the catering.
It's funny how that works, isn't it?
But we do have to.
Say,
we
let's
do
let
have
him get
to-
out of here,
I
yeah.
do have to wrap it up only because I have
Yeah.
another meeting at 2:30
I'll stop
and
asking
it's
questions.
Yeah,
it's
no, I-
2:25.
I really appreciate your time. Hey, do you
Yeah.
like this chair I'm sitting in, by the way?
Do I like it?
Yeah. Do you see the stadium chair? Do you know where this is from?
No,
This is from Old Yankee Stadium.
really.
Yeah, Barry. What was it?
That
Your
is
60th
cool.
birthday was a gift from Patricia.
My 60th birthday gift from my wife.
That's
the,
pretty
It's
cool.
the I had to sit in it for this podcast. Yeah.
You probably should have let your guests sit in it.
What's that? No,
let
man.
your
I had
guests
to
sit
sit in it, man. That's more comfortable. That's more comfortable.
Okay.
It's soft. Yeah.
So now we know
uh,
for next time. Give the guest the comfy chair.
Yeah. Well, yeah,
Well,
that's probably the comfier chair.
I guess the cooler looking chair.
But this
I don't
is the
know.
cooler chair. Man. I had to sit in it. I mean, you a baseball fan?
You should have told me. I am not.
Yeah. See, you wouldn't even appreciate it.
No,
See?
no. I like Florida football. That's about it.
Okay. Oh, they almost
Philadelphia
won.
Eagles. Yeah.
They almost beat
I don't
Bama.
wanna-
Oh, that was so
that was very disappointing.
tough,
I don't
yeah.
want to talk about that
Yeah.
one. There's so many missed opportunities on that.
But I do want to thank you for coming out and being on
Yeah.
this. I want to thank you for letting us do the podcast at Green Marlin and Chive too. That was great.
Anytime.
And I want to thank Barry for letting us
Yeah,
use the
thanks,
studio.
Barry.
We're going to have him on in a future podcast here soon. And yeah, man, I hope everybody that's listening or watch enjoyed it. Lou, man, I really look up to you, and
Oh,
I
thanks,
think
buddy.
that I think your restaurants are great, and
Yeah.
always a supporter. And no, I appreciate everything, man. I really
I'll
do.
talk about fresh food in my restaurants all day long. And with the my younger staff that's coming up, I always try to tell them, find something like I found, like find something you're passionate about,
Yeah.
and you're gonna have to work hard at it, but you're really gonna be rewarded. It's gonna set you up for the rest of your life. You're never gonna have to worry about money if you work at something that you care about so much, because people are going to feel it in you.
Yeah.
And they're going to want to be a part of it, always be a part of it, and you're not going to have a hard time selling your product if you believe in it as much as I do.
Right.
So find what that product is and
I
do
say
it.
that about our business all the time. The money will come. You do a good job, the
will.
money will come. I'm
That
not
is true.
Yeah. So
Sounds
I hear
like a
you.
cliche, but it is
Yeah,
true.
it's very true.
Let the work show for itself.
Yep. So, anyhow, that's it. I'll let you get to
buddy.
your meeting, man. Thank you very
Thank you,
much. I
guys.
appreciate it.
Awesome.
Thanks again,
Take care.
Barry. And all right, take care.
Beautiful.